It is midnight, in the middle of a heavy storm. A man is wading into a violently flooded river, holding a newborn child tightly to his chest. He is risking his life to hide this infant from a king who wants him dead. To understand why a father would take such a risk, we have to look at the city of Mathura. It was held in a militaristic grip by King Kamsa, who turned the prosperous kingdom into a heavily guarded fortress. The severity of his rule was so extreme that the gods themselves petitioned Lord Vishnu for intervention. The earthly balance had shifted entirely toward cruelty, leaving the people without a clear path to freedom. Humanity had no defense against Kamsa's absolute authority. No political shift could break his power. Restoring the balance of good in Mathura would require a literal, physical miracle. The catalyst for Kamsa's downfall began during a brief moment of peace, the royal wedding of his sister, Devaki, to a nobleman named Vasudeva. The celebrations were interrupted by a voice echoing from the sky. The heavens decreed that Devaki's 8th son was destined to be the person who would kill King Kamsa. Kamsa responded with immediate paranoia. He halted the procession, threatened his sister, and threw the newlyweds into a heavily guarded stone dungeon. What followed was years of psychological and physical suffering. As the years passed, Devaki gave birth in that cell. 6 times she brought a son into the world, and 6 times King Kamsa entered the dungeon to personally execute the infant. This sequence of losses tested the parents' endurance to the limit. By the time Devaki's 8th pregnancy was announced, the stakes for this child's survival were at their absolute peak. The momentum finally shifted with Devaki's 7th pregnancy. Through a divine intervention, the energy of the child, Balarama, was transferred out of the prison and into the womb of another mother, Rohini, in a distant village. In the dungeon, Devaki and Vasudeva waited. Despite their years of grief, they held firmly to their faith, trusting that the prophecy of the 8th child was real. Then came the midnight of the 8th birth. Outside the dark prison, a fierce storm erupted, the roaring thunder masking the hidden events occurring inside the stone walls. In a sudden flash of golden light, Lord Vishnu revealed his 4-armed divine form to the parents. Moments later, that glowing silhouette condensed, physically transforming into a helpless human infant, baby Krishna. This miraculous birth was a turning point. A divine presence had successfully entered the most heavily guarded cell in the kingdom, breaching the physical walls of human tyranny. The mechanics of the escape activated immediately. The heavy iron prison doors opened on their own, and the guards fell into a deep sleep, allowing Vasudeva to slip out into the storm. Carrying Krishna in a small basket, Vasudeva reached the banks of the Yamuna River. The storm had caused the waters to flood violently, creating a dangerous physical barrier between the baby and safety. As Vasudeva stepped into the current, supernatural protection arrived. The massive serpent, Adishesha, rose from the churning water. She announced that the child meant to destroy him was already safe. Kamsa had a massive army and fortress walls, but no amount of earthly power could outmaneuver the precise timing of divine will. While Kamsa raged in his fortress, Krishna grew up safely in the pastures of Gokul under the care of Nanda and Yashoda, preparing for the day he would eventually return. This diagram maps the story's internal architecture, building outward from a core of darkness through 7 principles. First, the faith and patience modeled by Devaki, paired with Vasudeva's physical courage. The narrative adds hope, divine compassion, righteousness, and the inevitable victory of good. These 7 pillars explain the story's lasting resonance, offering a set of specific tools for surviving overwhelming hardship, regardless of the setting or century. The specific details of this escape, the midnight hour, the storm, and the secret crossing, are the reasons why millions of people celebrate Janmashtami today. That reverence for Krishna's arrival remains a living tradition, visible in the quiet acts of personal devotion practiced by communities globally. It also manifests in massive community gatherings. Crowds form towering human pyramids in the streets, physically reenacting the joyful spirit of Krishna's youth. When the sun sets, celebrations return to the original story, illuminating the midnight hour to honor a light born in the middle of a storm. It is a reminder that no matter the odds, there is always a reason to trust in divine timing. If you enjoyed this divine story, please like, share, and subscribe to Divine Tales for more inspiring stories from Hindu mythology. May Lord Krishna bless you with peace, wisdom, and happiness. Jai Shri Krishna.